Right, welcome back to another episode. And today I'm going to show you how to theme toggle yet again in Tailwind DaisyUI. So basically, Tailwind is the CSS library, but the DaisyUI is basically like a library on top of Tailwind, right? So Tailwind doesn't have any components or stuff like that, but DaisyUI does have components. So you can see, these are the button components that DaisyUI provides. So if I click on the theme toggle, it just goes smoothly, right? So if you guys don't know about DaisyUI, I would highly recommend check it out. And then, for example, like I can have lots and lots of components just by using DaisyUI, right? So you have cards, carousel, like all the other standard stuff, basically. Like you can have everything pretty much in here. But it's not specific to Angular. It can be used by many frameworks out there. So Angular is just one of them, right? So that's pretty awesome. Okay, and in Tailwind, if you want to use Tailwind's components, it's just I think it's paid or something like that, but I'm not really sure. But you can customize your own components for sure. But this DaisyUI is built on top of DaisyUI, so you can still use Tailwind CSS on top of this, but this just gives you all the components that you need basically. So yeah, and also this one saves your state, right? So if it's dark theme, refresh, it saves. Light theme, refresh, it saves. So that's about it. And then I'm gonna show you how to do this. And yeah, see you on the next screen. All right, so first of all, let's just create a new project, right? So ng new, let's just say daisy, oh no, I'm spelling wrong, daisy UI theme toggle, right? And while that's going, I want to show you the documentation of the daisy UI. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna select SAS, SSR, just say no. If you don't care about the server-side rendering stuff. Okay, so in the documentation, you can just Google like DaisyUI and then it will show up, right? On the documentation, it will show you how to install DaisyUI, but you have to install Tailwind first. So what I would do is Tailwind Angular, and then it will give you that installation guide. I've made a video about this. You can check that out too, to use like DaisyUI plus Tailwind, and it's pretty cool to use it in Angular. I always pretty much like to use it exclusively. Okay, so now it's done. I'm gonna install Tailwind now. Okay, so the first install Tailwind, and then we're gonna go on from there. Okay, so yeah, I just created my project, and then I have to install the Tailwind packages, right? And the next step is to initialize the config file. So there's a config file in Tailwind. Oops, what's going on? Okay. And then this command will create the Tailwind config file, which is, I messed that up. I have to go to the to create a project first. What is it? Daisy UI theme toggle. I'm just gonna open a separate VS Code for there. Okay. All right, let's start again. So npm d. Okay, that, and then npx init that. All right, so now we have the config file, and then on the config file, you just copy this thing, right? So this just basically means the Tailwind style can be in the HTML file or in the TypeScript file, which, it can be in both, right? So that's why. And then on the styles.css, you just copy paste these three things, and then you can do ng-serve. So let's just test this out, right? Do ng-serve, and then I'm just going to copy this component, and then it should print out hello world. So I'm going to copy it to my app.html. It's already in use. No, I'm just going to cancel the other one real quick. Hold on. It's this one. Okay. All right, so it's done. We go to localhost, it's showing Tailwind's component, right? Not component, guys, it's just hello world underlined, and also it's bolted up. So you can just see the classes, right? So it's bold, underline, and it's a slightly bigger. So yay, Tailwind is working. So now next step is to use install DaisyUI, right? So now I'm gonna install DaisyUI, just follow the guide like that. And then on the plugins, just use require DaisyUI, which, on the Tailwind config file, you can just do this. That's it, pretty much. All right, cool. So that's how you have DaisyUI in your component. So let's just, check this out, and then if it's working. So I'm just going to copy all the buttons in here and then put it into the app component file and see, okay, yeah, the buttons are showing, which is cool. All right, so now I'm going to be using this, what is it called? Swap thing. So okay, on the swap, there's a nice little button that swaps the light and dark theme toggle, right? So I'm just going to copy these. Then put it on, do a BR tag and then put it just here. So now this works, right? So, but it doesn't do anything, right? Of course, I have to hook that up with the theme toggle and stuff like that. Okay, so how do you do themes, right? So let's just go to the themes documentation. And then you can see there's like a lot of pre-built themes, right? So there's the dark, the light, cupcake, bumblebee, cyberpunk, or whatever, right? So these are all the pre-built themes. And on the, if you want to import the themes, you can just import it this way. So I'm going to be using light and dark theme, right? So let's just copy this and then go to the Tailwind config. And then under here, you can just use DaisyUI themes. And then let's do light and dark, right? Okay, now it's basically installed. So one way to check if the dark theme is working is you can go to the index.html and then it shows the guide, right? So you can put data theme cupcake, right? And let's just copy that and put data theme dark. Okay, so now dark theme is working, right? If I put light, then the light theme is working. So essentially my goal is to add this class to the HTML and change the class, right? Not a class, I guess it's an attribute. So my goal is that. Okay, cool. All right. To do that, I would need a service component, not component, sorry, just Angular service. So ngs ng generate asks this for a service. Then I'm going to create another new service called just a theme service. And if you watch the other like material theme video, it's going to be really, really similar, but not quite. So I'm just going to delete this. All right, cool. So we have a theme service, right? So under the theme service, let's just start off really, really simple, I guess. So let's do the current theme as light, and then we can go on from there. So let's create a method called set theme, right? So if you pass in like a theme, then it will set that theme. And then I'm just going to create like a new type called theme, which, I'm just going to declare it in here, right? So export type theme, and then it can be dark or a light, right? And then if you want to do lots and lots of the other themes, you can just add it here, right? But in here, I'll just have dark and light. Okay, so you have set theme. And then if, the theme is called, I guess I don't even need to do that then. Okay, so we don't even need if statement in here. So I can just do list.document, which I have to inject a document in a moment. Okay, let's just do that now then. So I have to inject a document object. Read only document equals inject. Then it's called document with a capital. So, okay, so now I have the DOM, basically the document object, and then I can just manipulate that. So I have the document, and then document element is like the root element, right? So the HTML element, and then set attribute of data theme, right? So that's the attribute name, data theme. And then the next one, I can just add theme. Yay. So that's it pretty much. If I do that, then it will, set the theme. Okay, let's just try and see if this is working, right? So I'm just gonna add like a button. Oh, I already have a button, right? So let's just use that one of the buttons in here. So I'm gonna use the very first button and add a click event. Then set theme, right? Then I'm gonna set the theme to dark. All right. So now let's create this method. Set theme, then theme object comes in. I guess it can come in as a theme, And then I have to inject to the theme service, right? So, no, not private. Let's just do read only, just to be safe. Theme service equals inject theme service to import inject. Okay, now this dot theme service dot set theme. Okay, cool. Now it's basically done. Okay, so if I click this button, it will call this function which sets the theme. Okay, yeah, now it's working. But if I click again, nothing happens because, it's always setting the theme to dark, right? Okay, cool. Now we need to, let's just get rid of that buttons click event. We don't need this button because we already have this thing, right? The swap thing. So let's just get rid of that. And then set theme, I don't think we need it. Okay, so now let's do something that Angular 19 introduced us. I think it was 19 or 18, I forgot, which is a signal called model. So what model does is that, let's just set this to true, right? Because if you can see this is like an input type checkbox, right? Which means it can have true or false as a value. So if you guys know a little bit of what Angular, there's a thing called ng model. Ng model, what it does is that you can bind it to a variable and then it will be two-way binded, right? So for example, like if I change the value from the HTML, it will be changed into the TypeScript. And then if I change it from the TypeScript, it will be, rendered to the HTML. So it's like always synchronous, right? So that's what I call, like, it's a two-way binding. But nowadays you can even two-way bind a signal. So that's really cool. Before you couldn't even do that. So this is really good. Okay, so now it's complaining because I have to import the forums module in order to use the two-way binding, the ng model thing. So I don't need the router outlet, so I'm just going to delete this. So I just have forums module. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just going to demonstrate the two-way binding thing, right? So if I print the is light, if you print the signal like in the parentheses to call the value, right? So here it's true. If I click here, it's false, true, false, true, false, right? And then this one is like showing from the HTML to the TypeScript, but you can do it the other way too. If you change the value in here, it will be synchronous. I'm going to show that later, but yeah, for now it's like working. So great. Okay, now let's create a method in the theme service called toggle, right? So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to toggle, right? So toggle theme, right? Cool. All right, so basically the idea is if the current theme is light, then we have to set it to dark. And then if it's the other way around, we set it to light, right? So in order to use something like this, we need to have a current theme variable. So let's just do that. Okay, let's just do a private read-only. And it's always a good practice to do a private read-only just to be safe, extra safe, right? You don't want to expose variables outside of the service. So current theme is just a signal of theme and the default value is light, right? So let's just import the signal. Okay, and then if the current theme is equal to light, then we can, oops, this should be this dot, and then we can just do a set theme and then pass in dark, right? Then if it's the other way around, then we can just pass in light. Okay, that's pretty much it for the toggle function. So let's just use this. In here, so we have the HTML. Okay, on the HTML, there's a method called change, right? So on the button, we had click, but in here we can use change. I think click also works, but let's just do change because, it's changing its like state, right? In the checkbox, checked, unchecked, and stuff like that. So in order to use this, we can just call the theme service directly and then toggle theme, right? Okay, let's do this. Then if I click here, it does. Oh yeah, it doesn't work the other way around. That's I think that's because so wait, let me see. So if I do this, it works, but not the other way around. That's really weird. toggle. Oh, you know what? I forgot to update the current theme. Dot set. Hold on, and not here. I should do it here. So whenever a theme comes, I have to set it to the theme, right? Obviously. So that's why. Okay. So if I go dark, light, dark, light. Now it's working. Okay, cool. Now the problem is that if I do this refresh, it doesn't work, right? So I have to store the state somehow. And in order to store the state, I'll just create like a method called like set theme in local storage, right? So you have to store the theme in the local storage to have like a persistent state, right? It basically means that you're storing some sort of string in your browser. So that doesn't change. So that's a really good place to store a theme variable. But you can store other stuff too. But in here, theme is really good. Okay, so to access the local storage, you can just do local storage dot set item. Set item is going to be like a key value pair, right? So key is going to be, let's just do like preferred theme, and then I'll just pass in the theme, right? And then I also have to have like get theme from local storage method, and then that's just going to give me like the current stored local storage value, right? So we can do local storage.get item. The key is going to be preferred. I have to make sure I spell it right. Okay, and then the thing about this method is that you can return null, right? Because there is a possibility that the key is not there, right? So I have to also, it returns a string, so I have to convert it as a theme. And so it's converting to the interface that I created. And also if it's not, if it's null, then I have to return like a default value, which is light. Cool. So this is giving me the light default value. Right, cool. So we have the set and get, right? And also like whenever there's a set theme object, not object. Oh, I have to change this set theme. Method comes in, I have to update the local storage, right? So this dot set theme in local storage to theme. Yeah, that's it. So this is setting the theme, and also whenever the service first runs, I have to update the theme, right? So which means I have to do like set theme and then read it from the local storage. So get theme from local storage, right? So what is this complaining? Oh, it's not a theme. That's really weird. What is it saying? Oh, yeah, right. I have to do return. That's why. Okay, so now it's returning theme, right? So cool. All right, now it should work. So if I do toggle and then make sure that the state is there. So I have to go to the application local storage and then see, right? Preferred theme is dark, and save theme, I'm not sure what this is, but yeah, I can, clear this up and then refresh. Okay, now the preferred theme is light. If I do this, it's dark, light, dark, right? And then let's do refresh, and it just didn't work. Yeah, I know. Okay, so the theme is working, but this button state isn't working, right? So we'll fix that shortly. But I want to do some cleanups in here. So for example, like set theme, I don't want this to be visible from the outside, right? I just want this to be visible from the outside. Toggle theme, and that's it. And then this also, like private. So we just have one method exposed. That's really cool. And then the method that I want to show is that get current theme. Okay, so get current theme is just basically passes this signal. So return this dot current theme dot as read only. So the reason why I did this is because it's really bad idea to expose your signal that's changing to the outside as like writable signals, right? So if you expose this, then other services or other components can easily just set this and change the state. You don't want that. You only want to set it in here, not from the outside. So that's why you create a method and then expose it as like read-only signal. So this provides like a signal which is read-only. Okay, let's use this to get the initial state, right? So in here, instead of being true, I can just do this dot theme service dot get current theme, and this will give me the signal. Now to get the value, I have to do another parentheses, and then if I make sure if it's light, right? So now this is gonna work. Wait, I have to clear the local storage to make this work. Okay, so refresh. All right, cool. All right, so if I do the toggle, it's working, and then if I put in the dark mode, refresh, it's still dark, right? If I do that, refresh, it's still light. So yay, now it's working fully. So this is a really neat solution that that we have, I think, at least. We just use model, which is a really new thing, and this is fully like signal based, which means you can just use the zoneless zoneless Angular, right? So which is trying to be the new thing. So that's that, and yeah, the theme service is also really clean, I would say. And I guess one thing to note is that if you want to use the set theme, you can, but I would only use this if you have like multiple themes that you can choose. So for example, like if you're trying to do all these themes, right, you can just use this from the outside and not set it to private. So that's the only thing that I would suggest. Is there any other stuff? I don't think so, but I mean, if you want to make this clean, right, I would export this as a constant variable up top, export this as a variable because this is constant, right? And stuff like that. You can do that for sure. But this is for this demonstration purposes. I think this is more than enough. Okay. Yeah, this video has been really, really long. So I will just stop here. And then if you have any questions, let me know. And I'll see you guys later.